Jacob with MarketingPlayBook.co, and today we're going to be covering creating ads for AdWords and the best practices. Making AdWords happy. Each ad you write needs to satisfy AdWords quality, and we've covered this in our quality score video, and if you haven't dived into that video yet, I highly suggest you go back and watch it. And basically what we're trying to do is write highly relevant ads around each keyword, and this is why we generally end up breaking down each keyword into its own ad group. Next, we have making the searcher happy. Your ad needs to relate to the person doing the search. The user intent should be matched to the correct ad copy. And to do this, you can do things like ask questions, identify a problem, something to create an emotion, having a good call to action, are all things that will help you stand out amongst other ads. So here's what this may look like. A person goes and they search for cosmetic dentistry. Your ad copy might look something similar to this. Denver dentistry, Denver family dentistry, all ages, call and set up an appointment. Now with this ad copy, we're assuming that the practice is in Denver, like we've done with the rest of our videos so far, pretending to be a Denver dental practice. And so this is an ad that might show up for cosmetic dentistry. Now here's the other ad. Cosmetic dentistry, restorative and cosmetic dentistry, all ages, call and set up an appointment. Now which ad do you think is going to not only make Google happy, but also make the searcher happy? And chances are it's going to be this ad right here. And the reason is because we're calling out the individual's needs. Right there, cosmetic dentistry, this highly relates to them. And we could even say cosmetic dentistry Denver, something along those lines with the geo call out in there. And we have the restorative and cosmetic dentistry in here, and then we have a nice clear call to action right here at the bottom. And this one does have a nice call to action. So if this was cosmetic dentistry was in an ad group around and grouped together with other dentistry keywords, you wouldn't be able to write an ad specifically for this. And that's why we actually break down each and every keyword into its own ad group, so we can write an ad directly related to this one phrase right there. Now to get the best quality score possible, we want to make AdWords the machine happy and the end user happy, like we were kind of discussing before and in the quality score video. And this is done by closely aligning the search intent with an ad that has the best possibility being clicked. And ultimately what this is going to do is it's going to give you a higher quality score because AdWords sees that this ad is relevant, and as you have a higher click-through rate than other individuals, your quality score will go up over time, and ultimately your cost per click will go down. Your ad will slowly start rising to the top, and all around it'll get you cheaper clicks over the long run. Now quickly, let's go through an overview and breakdown of ads. So each ad consists of 4 elements. You're going to have the headline, which is a max of 25 characters, a description 1, which is 35 characters, description 2, 35 characters, and a display URL that is 35 characters. A final URL is now in the ad copy as well. Now this doesn't actually show to the end user, but when an end user clicks on, let's say, the headline or the display URL, the final URL, which is the final destination page that the user lands on. And this is kind of behind the scenes, so no end user is actually going to see the final URL, but you're going to have to now include the final URL. Which, like I said, is simply just the landing page that the user actually lands on. So for a headline is meant to grab a user's attention. And as we kind of said before, you can use the same keyword and ask a question, state a benefit, use geo-targeting, so a geo call-out. For Denver, it would be Denver. If it was Colorado, Colorado, Minnesota, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minneapolis. State yourself as a leading company or create an emotion. So here's some examples of this for emergency dental. Need emergency dental? Question mark. Same day dental emergency. Or same day emergency dental. That would be a benefit because the individual needs to get in that day. Denver emergency dental. That would be a geo call out. Expert emergency dental. And that would be establishing yourself as a leading company. Now you can't use the word best, but you can easily get around that by saying expert, lead, authority, things along those lines, things that can establish you as an expert in that field. And then lastly, this last one is there to create an emotion. And sometimes, yes, that keyword being in that title can be great for quality score, but it's not always needed. And so I'd highly advise that you do test out other things, especially if you can create a strong emotional hook with the end user. and the person doing the search. So for somebody who's typing in emergency dental, chances are they're in a lot of pain, right? So I can go ahead and put in this ad copy. Are you in pain now? And then the rest of that might say something like, emergency dental help now. Call for same-day appointment, something along those lines. And when it comes to headlines, you really got to keep testing. And that's ultimately how you find out what works. And, as an expert in the field, I'll write some really good copy, and I'll say, oh, this copy will definitely outperform this copy. And then in reality, looking at the numbers, it's the reverse. And you just never truly know until you actually test the copies out to see which one's going to get you the highest click-through rate, which one's going to get you the best quality score. This is just best practices to follow, but I highly recommend that you continue to test out your headlines. So with the description 1, that first line in there, description is meant to describe the problem and offer a solution. Now, when possible, I do tend to use the same keyword search phrase and outline the problem or the solution for the end user. And here in this copy, we'll see same day emergency dental. So if I was going along with the emergency dental, I have emergency dental in the title. I also have it in the description 1 line. And here's a quick tip for you as well. If you place a period, exclamation mark, question mark, and there's a few other ones after the description 1, when you show in the top 1 or 2 spot, and sometimes the third spot, in Google after somebody's done a search, it'll move the description 1 into the top headline right here. So my text is a little bit too big, so it didn't fit all on one line, but all of this would be bold right here. So instead of having, usually you'd have the headline, then the description 1, then the description 2. If you're showing in the top 2 and sometimes the top 3, by putting a period, an exclamation mark, or question mark at the end, it'll move that into the title bar, and it's what that's going to do is it's going to make it completely bold across, and that is going to really help when it comes to click-through rates because there's just more in it, and an individual can relate to it more. It's going to be bold. So if you're in position 2 and somebody else is above you and they're not doing that, chances are you're going to be getting some of those clicks from that individual just by doing that little technique. And that's important because your click-through rate helps decide part of your quality score when it comes to AdWords search. So when it comes to description 2, I usually have it be the call of action, and you can always test it around and switch around description 1 and description 2. So in some cases, description 1 may be better for a call to action, especially if you're able to fit it into that same title bar right there. So need emergency dental, same day emergency dental. And this would be the reverse of that. Need emergency dental? Call and set up an appointment. So, this call of action in that top row might actually be far more beneficial than having it underneath where it's not going to get highlighted being in that first top row position because I put that period, exclamation mark, or question mark there at the end. And the real takeaway I want you to take from this is having that call to action in the ad copy. And I can't stress that enough. By you telling the visitor the next step that they should take, it can help tremendously when it comes to getting the user to actually click on your ad. So the display URL is something that's oftentimes overlooked by an individual, and you have 35 characters that you got to use in that line. So oftentimes you're going to put in your website.com, and you'll see that most commonly on a lot of places. Well, you can put in text after that too as well, and this isn't the actual landing page that the individual is going to land on. That is in your final destination URL. This is just the display URL. So if you look at it and you say yourwebsite.com / if I was bidding on emergency dental, well, I can go ahead and I can put in emergency dental right here afterwards, and it doesn't have to be the actual URL. This could be a fake page. It doesn't have to be real because the final URL is where the landing on. So all you need is the actual domain name that the person is going to land on, and then by simply putting out emergency dental there, it's going to be more relevant. It's putting that keyword in again for the individual, and it could make the difference between them clicking on you or clicking on somebody else. And if you want, you can try to get a little crafty with it too. So you can say something like special discount or something along those lines, coupon code, and something that might entice an individual to click on it And if you're going to say that, I would definitely have a coupon there for them to use or something along those lines. But it could be used as just another element to get them to click on your ad over somebody else's. So one of the last things we're going to talk about, and that's going to be split testing. In every ad group you have, especially if you do it the method we recommend, so you have one keyword in that ad group, or at least very, very closely related keywords. So all your keywords around emergency dental will be in that one ad group. You'll need to put in 2 ads. That way you can split test evenly. And when we set up our campaign originally in one of our first videos, we talked about even rotation. So rotating those ads evenly so you can see which ad is getting the better click-through rate, and if you have a conversion pixel in place, you can track which ad is actually converting better. And ultimately is what you're doing is you're racing those 2 ad copies, and you shouldn't stop testing until you're actually happy with the results. So there's oftentimes we'll put up 2 separate, totally different looking ads. So the titles will be completely different. I'll be trying to take a different angle on it, and one ad might have a 5% click-through rate, and while at the same time the other ad, which is in the same position, might have a 10% click-through rate. So which one's going to give me the higher quality score over the course of time? And the answer is going to be that 10% click-through rate, because it's just performing so much better. So from a quality standpoint, really you're going and focusing on click-through rate. Now when it comes to actual conversions, if you're able to track conversions, it might be a sale or a sign-up. A bigger focus for you that I recommend is to focus more on your conversion rate. So which ad is actually converting more than the other ad? So if I had an ad that was giving me, let's say, a 5% click-through rate, and it had 10 sales, and then I had an ad that had an 8% click-through rate and it only had 3 sales, I'd probably keep the ad that had the lower click-through rate, because at the end of the day, it's about return on investment. It's about ROI. It's about making money. And whatever ad is going to perform better for me ultimately to make me more money is the ad I'm going to keep. Even if it might not give me that 10 quality score over the course of time and I'm stuck at a 7 or an 8, I'm fine with that, because ultimately I'm making more from it. Now for inspiration for writing your ads, I do recommend that you go through your competitor ads that are out there, and don't just stick with your city either. So if I'm a Denver dental practice, I might try in California or New York or some areas that I know have really, really high and hard competition, because chances are those people have hired other experts like me out there, and they've really, really tested their ad copies out. You can also go to our tools page, and on the tools page we're going to recommend a few spying tools out there that allow you to quickly find out how long an ad's been showing and the like, and those can really, really help. Now they do cost a bit of money, and they're usually only on a monthly basis, so you got to pay a couple $100s for that month to get the intelligence and to spy in your competition. But those are the tools that pros use. So if you're serious about doing this yourself, I would recommend trying one of those tools just to make the research process that much easier. But you can always do it by thumb and just go around and seeing what you like. So when you type in cosmetic dentistry, what are the ads and ad copies that you like? And I'm not saying to steal somebody's ad copy, but all it takes is looking at it and then slightly rewriting it to test it out for yourself. And then here are some great resources too as well. So of course there's MarketingPlayBook.co, which is a fantastic site. If you haven't been on it, I highly suggest you go there. And then there's Wordstream.com. I really like Wordstream, and Wordstream actually has a paid product too as well. And I've used it numerous times. I've gotten in on some beta testing too for them as well. It's a great product for helping to manage PPC campaigns, but they have a lot of articles on there that'll help you write your ads and the like. WhiteSharkMedia.com is a great source for PPC, and so is PCHero.com. And then Search Engine Land's kind of a mixture of all trades, but plenty of people who write for Search Engine Land have their own PPC sites as well. So I recommend all 5 of these resources for you. That's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to be covering actually writing ads inside the AdWords editor, as well as in AdWords itself. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I ask, why not? This is our 10th or 11th video in our AdWords series, and if you've been following along by now, you should have subscribed, and I'm hoping you did. And be sure to like the videos, put in a comment, go to the MarketingPlayBook.co website, like the page, share the page with some friends, because if it's helping you, it's going to help someone else too as well. And I thank you for watching.